onto Jan and onto Ryu on this chase, but H2K have a very, very strong backline and very limited options for Unicorns to get there. We talked about this in the Elements game just before, how Rek'Sai and Gnar, they prefer more to be the second engage coming in. They don't really want to be the main engage, because then you got to time this Mega Gnar teleport coming in, or the Rek'Sai has to like flash forward and knock up targets, and then all the CC is going to have to follow that. Requires very high coordination, can be tricky to pull off, and like things like flashes really stops it being very effective in that case. So by taking this Jace, H2K must have, of course, expected Braum as a potential counter pick for it, but it really limits the way Unicorns Love can play, because they have the Corki as the poke. Orianna's a little bit too low range. So Jinx Jace might stay very safe in the backline. That could be super hard for Unicorns to deal with in these team fights.
And on top of all the laning problems and the scaling that you've touched on, H2K are one of, if not, the best lane swap team. With the exception of Fnatic shutting down Odoamne's Rumble last week, H2K traditionally have massive gold advantages at 10 and 20 minutes. If they want to go that route, if they want to. Because with the exception of Gnar and Rumble, they're pretty good in the mid and duo.
Yeah.
I really want to see how H2K plays around this Braum and how they handle the early game decisions, because it feels like all of the cards are for H2K to play.
Definitely have to see Unicorns of Love show some fantastic team fights to pull this one off. He always going to rely on how Hillis and Kikis and Vizicsacsi together can combine their powers and get a proper engage in. Because H2K has a lot of members here who wants to kite backwards and just single out targets with a very, very, very high amount of damage for them. So Gragas as well fits in so well in these comps where you just want to single out like one target, because of the fact he can like blow one target back into the open hands of Ryu and Yanin and just blow them up. So I really want to see how Unicorns is going to play the team fights. For now, if they do get standard lanes, it's going to be tricky for Vardex and Hillsang. That's why they're swapping to the top lane as well. Simply saying we don't want to risk this one. And let's see if Hillsang can roam. Braum's fantastic roamer in the early game.
A lot of pressure on Hillsang's shoulders once again. H2K saw the strategy yesterday, but take a look at those stats the last time these two teams met. H2K wiped the floor with UOL. As they did most teams at the beginning of the split.
True.
Up until Fnatic took them down a few pegs. So lane swap, it has been initiated by UOL, too late to transfer. Krugs being done by both duos. And as we said, in terms of lane swaps, H2K usually do very, very well. They get more first towers than any other team in the league. And usually get more first bloods as well. They're tied with Fnatic, so a lot of pressure on UOL to avoid that.
UOL haven't shown yet in the lane, so Odoamne's going to find them now. So small change for H2K in the way they do it normally. Yanin and Lulix will always double jungle, and then they will walk down to the lane, where we have, of course, two guys. Ryu got an early level 2. There's a lot of damage on Power of Evil already.
That hurt. Captain Obvious. As we did see Power of Evil, he started with the Flash Cleanse. And we're looking to get out of any CC that Yanin with the Chompers or Kasing with a Death Sentence can put down. Early advantage for Ryu in this middle lane. Until Braum can defend Power of Evil, he's going to be at risk of those all-ins from the Hammer Time.
Yeah, he's just going to again try and turn it into a farm lane, as we so often see with Orianna. Once she gets an Athene, she can start pushing fairly effectively. Obviously, Ryu, he wants to use his poke on the Orianna and not necessarily the minion wave, so in that sense, pushing it back out can be a little bit annoying. But for now, it is fine, and Hillsang is still fighting with this Rift Scuttler on his own. It takes a bit of time for Braum to take it down, but now the 4v0 for H2K.
Oh, he was just setting it up for Kikis.
Honestly, Hillsang, you should have taken it. I mean, you deserved that one. That was yours.
Right, lane swap, Deficio. H2K have pushed beyond the first tower, trying to deny the minion wave. We see Chachi moving up top. Look in the middle. Kikis is set up potentially to go on Ryu.
And what we very often see now for H2K is they keep Odoamne in the lane where they kill the tower. So once tower goes down, he stays and gets the lane for himself, and then they swap Yanin around. simply to make sure that Odoamne can always be relevant in the mid game. Lulix is going to find Kikis. Rio's there too.
Oh, the body slam barrel down means that Kikis needs to flash away to stay alive. But tower should be secured, it looks like. Odoamne gets the last hit and the local gold. It will be evened out by UOL up top.
And this is what you do if you want to make sure your top laner stays relevant. You're not sacrificing him, you're not telling him, okay, you can leave the lane now, you have to swap top lane, where this wave is going to be bounced back by unicorns as well. Chachi's then going to have this small advantage, and this Rumble is just left on his own. He can barely do anything. No. You keep him in the lane where you kill the tower. He now sits with a wave, he's getting some free farm for himself. 80 carries are the ones who has to move around instead. Pickaxe being picked up for Yanin. He's now going to look to push in that tower. And we can see our unicorns, well, they're saying, we know you're going to send Jinx to the top side, and we want that 2v2 now. We don't want to allow you to push the second tower very fast.
Let's see what this does to Chachi, because he's already down a little bit, even in levels. Of course, does have that teleport available, as does Odoamne. Odoamne, who was rated 3rd by Humi, if memory serves, as top laner. Gonna stick around up top, still hanging out, and a lot of unicorns moving to Yanin. Yanin's got flash and heal. This is gonna be so close to Fishio. The hop comes in, Chachi's charging up for Mega. Flame Chompers catches 2! Yanin's gonna flash away, dodges past the concussive bite, and Kasing, he's even looking forward for more. Summoner spells used, Lulix goes for the flash body slam. First blood to Yanin!
Kasing was only level 2, that's why there was no lantern, but H2K, as soon as they saw so many guys from Unicorns on the top side, knew something was going on. Lulix started moving. H2K and Yanin, bought enough time. Kikis already used his flash earlier. Simply caught out of position, the perfect member to get the first spot as well on Yanin here, and it backfires for H2K, for Unicorns, because down the bottom lane, well, there's a frozen wave. This Rumble here, 26 CS for himself. Chachi got denied because he was there trying to set up that gank. And H2K, once again, is getting a lead in these lane swaps.
Very well played. The fact that Yanin got those Flame Chompers down so early, buying him time. So power trough for both mid laners, as they've gone tier each. See how long it takes them to stack those.
Power Evil does all the time.
Really likes his tier. Power of Evil's got the same itemization playbook, unlike every champion.
It's very slow scaling for Moriana. It's already a very passive mage in the early to mid game. Then he goes tier into Morello Nomicon. Then he upgrades the tier obviously into Seraph. And then, yes, he will be strong once those 2 items are completed. But it's also going to delay his Death Cap, which then delays his Void Staff. So he's kind of delaying his core build by going for tier, but he wants that extra mana region clearly, and he wants that extra late game once he has these 4 or 5 items for himself. But it can be tricky getting there, especially when Rio is on this Jace, who's gonna spike so hard in the mid game himself, and we know Jinx is so strong at taking down towers. So if you can force unicorns off them, Yanin's gonna move in and say thank you very much, take down another objective.
Remember, it was in the mid game that unicorns stepped up yesterday against Origin, finding ways to punish the Jace with that Braum. Hylissang's had some target practice. We do see Hylissang and Chachi down in the bottom lane. Vargas is left alone. Odoamne doesn't have access to Equalizer yet, but he's picking a fight in this minion wave. Maybe he doesn't want this one. Gonna start overheating. There's flash available. He's flashed in. Gonna be in trouble now again. No Equalizer. Chachi, he's used teleport to come down. There is some support from Lulix. 2 of those Electro Harpoons connect. Flame Spitters coming out. Odoamne is gonna get hopped on.
Whoa!
Sniped!
Out of nowhere!
From way downtown! Vardag's forced to flash defensively.
Not even sure why was Vardax pushing that top lane on his own. Again, they're giving so much farm and XP over to Odoamne, and poor little Chachi is the guy there sitting around saying, you know what, you're on your own, you just try and find farm somewhere. Then he had to TP in to try and save Vardax, ends up dying for it, gets a rocket smacked in his face. So he's even further behind now. We can just see a difference in mentality here for H2K and Unicorns of Love. One team is saying we want our top laner to be strong. Another team is saying we want our AD carry to get extra farm and extra experience. And it's completely backfiring for them because Vardax couldn't really do a whole lot. He was sitting there, he had to like flash away in the one-on-one. Really a poor decision for Unicorns and punished by H2K.
2,000 gold, 2 kills for Hyanin. level disparity, farm disparity between the top laners. Quite a big one, in fact. Roughly 20 CS. Oduwamne, if he starts a fight shortly, will have the advantage.
And also, we have to go all the way back to when the towers died in the lane swap. We mentioned how Unicorns were sending Vardex and Helsing back to the top lane because they wanted to stop the fast push coming in from a Jinx, but that meant that Chachi had nowhere to go because the wave in the bot lane was frozen. He was already falling slightly behind, and it would be very risky for him to overextend down there with no tower to back him up. Lulex could just gank him super easily, so he had to stay top and like be part of this gank that ended up backfiring for the Unicorns of Love. It's just very tricky for Chachi to find anything on the map. That's why we normally see teams send the bottom lane down and just push out the wave against that top laner and then reset the whole thing.
And to Fisher, now that we do see the duos coming toe-to-toe, in our pre-game, we mentioned how Hyonin is still the sort of penultimate carry. He's responsible for more of his team's damage in the AD carry role than any other player. Vardex is the complete opposite. He is currently ranked 11th out of all ADCs for team damage, because it is more about power of evil. It's more about Chachi, or has been in recent weeks. And Vardex is not off to the start he'd want against this very, very late scaling Jinx.
Yeah, too early kills from him. He's currently sitting on only 700 gold because he went for that average blade. So he's basically saying now, okay, I'm going to be a little bit weaker, but then I'm going to get faster to my 2 and 3 item spike. Lulex is back top lane. Chachi, my friend.
Flash body slam, or rather the body slam flash connects. Electro Harpoon's going to get flashed away from. The slow from Boomerang should keep him alive. A follow-up body slam.
Where's the shock blast?
Ryu, accelerated shock blast! For the goal. Kissing will be going down in the background though. Death Sentence flashed past as Kikis dives in. Teleport comes up from Oduwamne. This may be hurting. Hyonin is all throwing down the rockets for the AoE. Switches to minigun. The Super Mega Death Rocket goes out and connects with Hylissang. It won't be enough for a kill, but Ryu's going to look for more. He does have that blue buff available. Cooldown's up. Accelerated. Blocked by Hylissang. As long as there's vision, Hilly knows it's coming.
Yeah.
And he can play catch all day long.
Only one Ryu doesn't want to hit is Hylissang, of course. Blocked it, but again, Chachi, you see what happens again. He's pushing up the lane. He's just trying and reset it, trying to get it down to that tier 2 tower. But then he overextends so much because of it, and he's all alone. There's no help for him. Another gank happens. He ends up dying. Again, Ryu picks up the kill this time. Urana then had to TP down bottom lane with the fight. I think he could have just canceled that one after Kasing went down, and just being happy that there was a massive wave for him top to take. But in the end, H2K is still in the goal lead. Started Dragon. UOL is nowhere near to contest this one. Chachi back top lane. Vardex pushed down to his own tier 2 tower. So easy Dragon for H2K. And
you know, Dragons is not something that H2K prioritizes particularly. You can see by the stats.
well, if you don't have to do anything for it, you take it.
UOL have taken 29 Dragons up to this point. That is the 21st one that H2K have taken. But H2K tends to just accelerate through kills and through towers. They win without the neutral objectives. Whereas for a lot of the other teams like SK, for example, they try to win through Dragon, and unfortunately it doesn't always work out.
Dragon is a slow snowball. You gotta reach those 5 stacks before anything really happens here. But I'm taking a lot of damage. Now Kikis is coming to help Chachi.
Oduwamne is in trouble. He does have flash. Gonna start overheating and will flash away. Equalizer not the greatest, but summon a spell down.
But we see a quick change here. Unicorn's realizing, okay, last time Chachi tried to push out the wave, he got ganked and killed. Now this time, Kikis is moving in here to help him get the flash. Chachi gets to push into the tower, and now Hylissang as well. So he's finally getting some farm. And then H2K either has to make a decision. Do we want to move multiple members to this lane and then force Unicorns back and maybe get a fight? Or do we want to try and take something elsewhere on the map? Mid lane is being pushed in at the moment. And this tower, it's going to be fairly easy to take down once you move in a Jinx. But for now, H2K is just playing it safe. Moving into the lane that was just pushed down.
Yeah, both of those mid laners with a lot of gold to spend. We'll expand on that in a second. Kasing and Hyonin. This is about to be a part.
Oh, Kasing's on face check.
2v3. Face check isn't going to work out. The AoE's coming out, and that's a dead Kasing. The hop comes out from Chachi. Winter's Bite. Is it ready? Flash forward for the auto attack. Lulex will try to save the day, but it won't be enough. The barrel's going to apply a small slow, and 2 kills for Unicorn. Sheepy will be happy with a small comeback. Unicorns adjusting on the fly, and making it work.
I really like that from the Unicorns of Love. After being burned so many times around the lanes where Chachi was. This time, they were the ones waiting. H2K clearly did not expect that. Just started pushing up. They thought they could push it out and then maybe rotate to mid lane. Lulex is still staying around.
Oops, this might not work out. Kikis is in trouble. The barrel knocks him backwards. Lulex is going to survive. Then Super Mega Death Rocket comes by. Kasing does have Ignite. No death sentence comes out though, and H2K get one back. Do not lose a tower. I quickly want to highlight that both of these mid laners are backing with around 3,000 gold each. Early Archangels, wow. Brutalizer, Ionian Boots, and Manamune completed. Big, big jumps in itemization.
You got a BF Sword on your Jinx as well, so H2K have to be able to use this massive spike, especially because, yes, you upgraded your tier from Power Wheel, but it's not fully stacked. You have 0 cooldown reduction at this point as well. Morel Nomicon normally coming in second for him. So he's not very strong. He's just looking to farm. That's it. H2K needs to be able to play around that. This mid tower is already fairly low. You still have a massive advantage in the top lane. So just reset your whole mindset now. Unicorns had some few good moves here. They got a few kills. But now you go back and you play it safe. You aim towards this fast pushing and the poke from the Jace.
So Deficio, 15 minutes in. 2,000 gold advantage for H2K still. Dragon will be up shortly. Trinity Force also picked up for Vardag, so he's going to have the option to get involved. Slow on the draw that time, Hylissang. And Chachi desperately trying to defend up top. Only got a Hex Drinker and Ninja Tabai, but he's got the support. Here comes Kikis and Vardags. We'll quickly look middle as Ryu's in trouble, but he's got the support of Lulex. 2v2, Shockwave catches Lulex and it's simply not enough. The cast throws Power of Evil against the wall and Ryu shock blasts for one more. It looks like Hyanan and Kasing got out alive as well at the cost of a Kasing flash. But H2K are everywhere.
Yeah, after a few good moves for Unicorns, this was not the correct one. You're using your support and your extremely weak mid laner who's currently just sitting on a lot of mana and a very low amount of AP. We saw the Shockwave, barely did any damage onto Lulex, and then suddenly you instantly lose that 2v2. That's your mid tower. Next one is going to take a lot of damage for it as well. And the Unicorns, after making some good moves, set themselves really far behind.
Looks like there's a rumble in the jungle as Lulex and Kikis find one another. The knock up onto that big body barrel. Ryu's coming to back up Lulex, and the shock blast was held onto. Kasing not going to connect to the death sentence this time round, and I think that was a small fan vote in favor of UOL, if I read that correctly. But H2K just as per usual, really. Accelerating between 10 and 20 minutes.
A few, hard to call them mistakes, but they got surprised a few times in the early game. We saw a good adaptation for Unicorns with Love. Kasing face checked it. Odame's TP down the bottom lane wasn't necessary either, but it's been the small ones for H2K. They're still in full control of the game. They have this massive power spike compared to Unicorns because of certain items being built. Vardak's not been able to have much of an impact yet. He's going to get his boots upgraded now. But there's not a whole lot he can do. He cannot match the poke of the Jace at this point. You want to get more cooldown reduction in Hylissang as well, because you need the cooldown down on this shield. For him, currently it's like 14 seconds, where at the gate for Ryu is about 9 seconds. So you can't really follow every single one, but you can block a lot of them. Obviously, he's maxing his shield second as well. So simply try and be as annoying as possible against Ryu.
Ryu trying to do the same thing as all Jace players want to do. Odoamne's a couple minions away from level 11. Chachi's trying to trade aggressively. Made up quite a lot of that CS. He was down around 40 a few minutes ago. Now it's only 25. And UOL trying to get some vision control. Look at the minimap. A lot of tunnels and wards on the top half of the map for UOL. Not necessarily the greatest around Dragon, but they're in the river already.
They have to be very careful around this Dragon here, because again, your Orianna is so weak, and you're against a Rumble, you're against an Jace who just picked up a BF Sword because there's very low amount of armor on the side of Unicorns, and also gives him just more all-in potential for it, delaying his last Whisper a little bit, but he had enough gold for it. We got a Vintage on Hyanan, sorry, so Unicorns are starting it. H2K, if they want to fight for it, they have to move down now.
Doesn't look to be the case.
They want to try to trade it for top tower instead, but that's not going to work.
Slow to react.
Yeah, they could have fought for this one for sure.
Level 11 on Rumble. Item advantages all over, and just not work out. So Chachi's gonna crunch. Flash no! Flashed away! Whew! That was quick.
Trading flash for flash at least. H2K back pushing the mid lane. Lulix is not nearby. He's down the bottom lane. He's very far. It's only 3 guys from H2K. They're gonna have to force or back away from this one. Maybe try and get this top tower down. Very surprised though about this dragon. How you just gave that one up so easily for the Unicorns of Love.
For H2K though, Dragon, again, not one of their biggest. As we said, they've secured 21, they've given up 24.
Well, again,
so
what they normally do...
priority when it's Dragon number 1.
What they normally do is they then trade it and say, okay, you go Dragon, fine, we go top, and we take the tier 1 tower as a trade then. But Chachi had TP ready to go up and defend it, so that was not really an option. Obviously, pushing it in now, they are still so much stronger. Kikis is the only guy trying to help Vardax, who's just stuck on this tower, poor guy. And now they will get down this tower. Anyway, so all the outers are gone. Time to deep ward.
A little later than you were expecting, the Fiscio, but H2K eventually get their target. After Power of Evil took that massive shock blast to the face, his Seraphs got completed as well. So that's not too bad on timing. But a mix and match of itemization. Seeker's Arm Guard. As well as that Forbidden Idol. Gonna be a while before PoE is really relevant in this matchup.
We're talking good 10, 15 minutes before we're really gonna see anything for him. Currently he's sitting on about 240 AP, obviously, with the Seraph fully stacked out, so that is fine. Fairly low amount of cooldown reduction though, coming in. And obviously with 20 minutes in, so honestly it's not that great. And the problem is you just spend all your gold, so your large rod is gonna be very delayed. Obviously you're looking towards this Hourglass now as well. So Deathcap Void Staff is gonna be pushed back even further. Let's see if he gets to that late game point.
H2K, they've cracked open the outer towers. Game did start in that lane swap that UOL initiated, and it's H2K again that came out ahead. We said this a while ago. But now it's up to UOL to defend. They do have relatively good wave clear with Orianna and Corki. On the assumption they don't get poked out.
As long as Hylissang is there to block the poke from Ryu, Unicorn should be able to sit and wave clear. But there's very little poke they can send back. It's only Vardax on his own to try and poke down H2K. That's going to be not enough, honestly, just Corki on his own, because Power Evil is going to focus on clearing the waves. And then it's going to be more about how can Hylissang, Chachi, and Kikis engage together. That's what we talked about. They need to find a way to reach the backline of H2K when they start the fight. Otherwise, H2K has too much damage to simply just kite it back a little bit and then blow up one target with this BF Sword Jace or the rocket coming in from Yanin. So UOL needs to find a flank or need to have the flashes ready. We're gonna have to see like a flash ulti from Hylissang, a flash knockup from Kikis to get onto H2K.
Look at how aggressive H2K were taking the tower down. Death Sentence connects onto Hylissang. The Flame Chompers separates out UOL. First kill secured for Hyanin as he's going to look to run down. Flash away from Vardax to dodge the Super Mega Death Rocket. Equalizer is going to burn up Unicorns of Love as Power of Evil Shockwave really didn't do a lot. And I like the way Hyanin used that acceleration gate in the mid lane to dash in and out to get the tower. And Unicorns just face-checking the jungle.
So what you can do, you also have the Lantern for Kasing. If someone is out of position, you just pull them back again. Unicorns losing another tower. We saw it, Hylissang try to move in. We're like, okay, is there any chance I'm gonna start a fight here? Everyone has flashes ready on the side of H2K, so the Braum ulti is near impossible to land onto them. Chachi will get a bot lane tower at least, but let's see. Hylissang is going in at this point, but there's no way for Unicorns to reach Ryu and Yana in the back. And now they can just get the kill, start clearing it up. Ulti from Power Evil used just to disengage. And just very, very difficult when you run these kind of comps against some poke, against some backline, or the threats in the backlines. It requires so much coordination, and often it's just impossible to pull off.
5,000 gold down, 3 towers down. What an uphill battle. And you know, at the forefront of all of it for H2K has been Lulex. Every time somebody from the Unicorns has been punished, Lulex has been there to lend a helping hand and a friendly drink. 106, 100% kill participation. Definitely an unsung hero of H2K. I think in recent weeks we've been trying to just tell a little bit more of his story because you've got so many carries from every other role, but Lulex is, in my opinion, an underrated jungler for how good he actually performs.
And just what him and Kasing together can do in terms of vision control. Always aiming for these side stones. You have double side stones set up, placing so many wards and playing them out, and just setting up your carries. That's your job right now. If you are Lulex, it's making the other guys look great. And the fact that they are looking great means Lulex is doing his job. Same goes for Kasing, but then steals the spotlight a few times here and there. Gets a lot of praise as well, both guys, from the rest of the team.
Deservedly so, Patricio. H2K, Dragon's going to be up in 10 seconds. They gave away the previous one, uncontested. However, H2K are much stronger than they were. Grab control as well. Power of Evil, still no noticeable increase in power. And as we said, H2K this time around, not going to give it up. No other easy objectives to fight for. Take the safe.
Yeah, one outer turret, or sorry, tier 1 turret left in the bottom lane for H2K to take down. Once they do that, I mean, what you can do with this comp they're running as well, if Rumble is grouped with you, lay down that ulti behind the tower and you simply just force them away. That buys so much time for Yana to go in and just melt the tower at this point here. Again, Unicorns, you're gonna have to try and find a way to engage onto them, but there's no wards behind them to jump to at the moment. And Hylissang has no flash to jump in with either.
And the last time H2K sieged up mid inner turret, Ryu put that acceleration gate just a little out of range. Fionin dashed forward, put a rocket down, backed away. Dashed forward, put a rocket down.
Look at this, Mega Gnar pops. Everyone backs away. Odanme is still sitting in the mid lane. He's going to join his team very soon. He has no TP yet, but it's very quick for him to move.
There's a Shockwave! Shockwave catches him out, and he's down! Vortex gets the kill! H2K in full retreat. Boomerang's going to slow Lulex, but the explosive cast will knock UOL away. And a momentary lapse of judgment. Hyonin goes down.
Even flash used. Nice Shockwave from Power of Evil. But really, for H2K, that was the only thing they were looking for. Was a random Shockwave or something where we suddenly, the own AD carries out of position. Not sure what Yana was doing. But this is very important for Unicorns of Love. If they can get more from this, could be a way back in the game.
Despite all of the talk about Power of Evil not having power, he finds the crucial ability. Hyonin's respawned. Odoamne has no teleport. He's recalling from top lane. I think Unicorns are aware of that. Righteous Glory, I believe, was popped there by Lulex. He's going to be unable to find a target. So the tower's left standing and UOL get a kill.
Yeah, bought them a little bit of time. Got a very important kill as well. For the drop, didn't really even have to use anything. Just popped the Shockwave and then 80 carries left alone. Hyonin's gonna have to be a bit more careful next time. And H2K, at this point, they can also just start setting up Baron and bait around it, force Unicorns to come in and take a fight, or force them to be in a situation where you can land the Shock Blast so easy from Ryu. Start warding up this jungle. You obviously need multiple layers to spot them coming in. It's always so annoying when you play against a team on purple side, because it's so easy for them to sneak in a ward on the Baron and then kind of stop you in your tracks. But if you're H2K, you might just look to just force that team fight because you know you're strong.
So Baron, pretty even between these two teams this split, but H2K with the gold advantage. Arguably the team fight advantage thanks to
for sure,
the range and the poke that they have in their favor. Hyonin takes 2 big hits. Face the mountain to block that last fight. And we did see the small defense of the invade there from UOL, looking to set something up, but unfortunately not able to make it happen.
Bot lane right now is gonna very slowly push for H2K. You can see how the next wave is gonna meet the current waves a lot faster on the side of H2K, so it's gonna start pushing towards Unicorns of Love. But it's gonna take a lot of time to build that one up. So it's a lot of time H2K has to start setting up here, keep playing out the wards and dance around the Baron. And Unicorns even have a TP to go down and clear it, so it shouldn't have too much of an effect.
Fischio, the next time we see Power of Evil back, should finish off that hour.
How much gold?
Sitting on 2,300 gold. Finally get a good spike. Little puppy there, scared of the camera. Cameraman, let him go, man, let him go! Equalizer onto Power of Evil, he's in trouble. Glacial Fisher comes out to split up the teams. It's Hylissang's Braum, the manliest of men, that's down. And for his life, Unicorns have managed to pick up 2. They're trading even thus far as Yanen's looking for more. Chachi's in Mega Gnar. He's eaten a house on a command attack. Kick is unable to sink the fangs down as Ryu gets himself a few. Accelerated shock blast for the snipe. Will it connect? No, because Power Beam was far enough away.
And finally, H2K, they get that one team fight they were looking for. This was why they were dancing around that Baron for so long. Nice ulti, and then the flash body slam from Lulex to get Power Weevil. Looked good in the start for Unicorns. They got the front line down, but that was because Ryu and Yanen were chasing around for some of these squishes. Look at this here. Nice engage on the Power Weevil. So now he's forced to use his ulti as well on just the 2 guys in the front line. That is okay for Unicorns at this point. The problem is, you still haven't been able to reach the back line. Ryu, full HP, chases down Vardex, takes him down easily. And now both Yanen and him can clean up the rest. Yanen takes a lot of damage for it. But this is what we talk about. There's just so few ways for Unicorns to get to Ryu, get to Yanen. And they are the guys you need to shut down.
Unicorns of Love falling further and further behind. 30 minutes down. Baron bait is a very real thing if H2K want to use it. And it's going to be even more difficult for the next few minutes for Unicorns of Love to defend or engage, because they have no flashes.
Yeah, that's very key. Highlighted it a few times. So Chachi trying to like flash in and stun Yanen. See if they can take him down. Does a TP, so sitting bot lane, but H2K just back
Lulex,
here.
he doesn't even care. Maybe a little less than he should. But there's the Baron. Ward's being cleared out if H2K want to start this.
Yeah, Chachi just lost his Mega Gnar. And H2K feeling very confident they can move in, because even if Chachi teleports in, he's no threat at all in mini Gnar, so they can just bully Unicorns out of the jungle, place the wards here, and if they can fire from out of vision, it becomes hard for Hylissang to block the shock by just pure reflexes from him, and they're just starting the Baron instantly. Again, Chachi, he's building up his barn now. Don't think he can even do anything in time.
It might be too late. H2K have secured Baron before Unicorns can even respond. Chachi still pushing down the bottom wave. He's already transformed into Mega Gnar. Odoamne eats a lot. He throws down the Equalizer. Look for a Super Mega Death Rocket if anyone goes low enough. Fiona holds on to the cooldown for now. Let's look bottom lane. Chachi, can he get the tower? There's your picture-in-picture. Down in the bottom left. Odoamne gonna recall. We can see Ryu moving in to match. There is a teleport for Odoamne, but no real wards to jump into.
Lulex is coming down though. They might just try and catch Chachi and then take a dragon after.
Let's take a look. Dragon is live. Chachi's throwing the boomerangs for his life. Righteous Glory comes out. Lulex is gonna find the slow. He's gonna get the body slam and the explosive. And Ryu just knocks him out the air. It is the 4th of July tomorrow, and Ryu wants to play some baseball. Unfortunately, it's a mini Gnar that he's using to knock around the rift.
And now we can see H2K just saying, Dragon, nah, let's go for more.
Death Sentence, gonna go wide. Yanen and Kasing flashed for that one. Zap's gonna miss as well. Come on, H2K, hits a skill shot. Flay doesn't connect. Kasing's gonna give up his life for missing all those skill shots. Odoamne now turns over to Vardex. Yanen's got the kill credit. And H2K, a tad over-eager.
Not the most flashy play from Kasing. Do secure another one. Vardex gets a kill for himself. It's been hard for him to do anything. He knows he can't really try and trade against Ryu in terms of poke. And Unicorns of Love have had very few team fights where someone like Vardex can even hit someone, because Rum is just gonna put down his ulti and then pop that hourglass, and he's not really gonna do anything against Vardex. And if he ever moves too close, Yanen and Ryu is just gonna switch to him instantly and just almost one-shot him. We've seen the damage from Ryu Infinity Edge. When he jumps in and he pops his W, man, he's just destroying people.
Yes, he is. Kikis is in trouble. Equalizer's available, but Odoamne was overheated, so gonna hold on to it. Dragon survived a few seconds longer than maybe he expected to. That's number 3, and the movement speed. H2K will be happy to secure. Lex is gonna avoid a little bit of pressure from the Unicorns, and the last inner turret standing is the target for H2K.
Yeah, last time they tried to push it in, we saw Yanen randomly getting caught out. He has no flash this time around, but Unicorns not really in any position to defend. You got the Baron buff as well for them, and with super minis coming in the mid lane, H2K being so strong, as long as they don't have one of these mistakes with Ryu and Yanen, They should be able to just poke this one out and keep getting so much damage down.
Death Sentence connects onto Hylissang. Jumps onto Chachi, stand behind me. And gives some additional stats. Kasing's Death Sentence goes wide once more, but look at that Baron-empowered minions. Hammering away on the Nexus turrets.
Oh, it's just a small useless minion now.
By a banner of command. Death Sentence again connects on Hylissang. They're going to flay them back towards the wall. Equalizer burns through Hylissang's brow. Lolix is trying to find another target as Odoamne is overheated. Look at how far Vardex got knocked down the lane. He's going to find one. Flash for Lulix. And dramatic pause. I agree, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I'm not in position yet.
There we go.
Yanin was able to get a kill while Vardex did the same.
2 for 2 so far.
So far.
H2K get a hook on to Hylissang, and they're like, he's the support. Let's all pile together. There's only this thing called Shockwave, and then let's try and take him down. Ryu ends up getting almost one shot at this time. Definitely being, again, a little bit greedy, and Unicorns punish him for it.
Just an update, I have heard that it was Kikis that started the pause. We will get more information on as to why. We are in the midst of an incredibly dramatic team fight, but take a look at the items and gold. Only 8,000 gold difference. Finally, some power items on a Power of Evil. Morella Nomicon Hourglass. It has taken 30 minutes.
Yeah, very, very late for him on the Morella Nomicon. Third item. Not even sure if it's worth it at this point to complete it, because again, you're sitting and missing the 2 key items as an AP carry. Deathcap and Void Staff. And it's all just been so delayed for him. We see now he has decent damage. He can one-shot Ryu if he gets, you know...
Close enough.
Close enough, because Ryu, for some reason, is jumping the Braum, and it's like, here I am, one-shot me.
Ryu with his standard expression, but for Chachi,
It's
a
focus.
lot of concern. A lot of concern.
It's been a tough game for Unicorns.
During the pauses, players are not allowed to talk, but look at this, Odoamne as well. Just for the record, Chachi and Odoamne are both down. They have both been taken out this team fight. Very, very serious looks. I'm still waiting to hear exactly what the reason for the pause is. But as you said, Unicorns have in fact struggled. They got bullied despite finding some picks. It was H2K that dictated the tempo, decided where the focus was going to be.
And it really just started in this lane swap here where, as we mentioned a few times, we saw a difference in which lane do you want to get fed or which lane do you want to secure farm on, because H2K said, okay, Odoamne, we need you to have a strong mid game. We need to make sure you're not getting denied too much from this lane swap. So he was the guy who stayed in the bottom lane when they killed the tower. He got a frozen wave. It bounced back towards him, pushed down towards his tower, and he was fine. While Chachi was sitting top, AD carries came up there. Both AD carries were like, okay, we're just going to try and find each other here. So Chachi had no lane to farm. They tried a gank. It didn't work, and he was super far behind. And once he finally returned to a lane, he just got ganked and killed. So Chachi got denied by his own team, by H2K as well. He's done a good job getting back in the game. We always talk about how Gnar, with this Black Cleaver, is very strong in the one-on-ones. Problem is, obviously, again, it makes you a little bit weak in team fights because you lack some extra tanky stats. And he's not been able to have much of an impact.
Coming up against the tank of Lulix, 1-1-13, involved in 14 out of 15 kills. Again, phenomenal performance. Always where H2K need him to be. When we had that period of play where the top lane had all the action, where Vardex was pushing down, then he got killed, and then we saw Hyanin coming up, and they got ganked multiple times. Lulix was around. Lulix backed them up. Lulix came for the counters. Lulix is sort of leading the way. I actually think he may have killed Odoamne this fight, because I'm quite confident Lulix threw the explosive cask, which knocked Vardex closer. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that to review once we resume the game. But overall, a very impactful performance. Hyanin, 5-2-4 on that Jinx. Again, relied on by the rest of the team to carry.
But we still see H2K do so many things super well, and then there's like these small mistakes they tend to do. This last team fight, it's not a small, that's a big mistake now. Ryu getting one shot, Hyanin before that being caught up by the shockwave. So they're not doing themselves any favors, and that's a difference compared to the H2K we saw in the first few weeks before they faced Fnatic. It seems like there's been some changes to the team, and they a bit more shaky in the way they play. Got caught out a few times in the early game as well. We heard Chachi talk about it in the feature before, how if we can manage to go even at least in the early to mid game, we might be able to catch them out of position. And they have been able to a few times. Even with H2K being so far ahead, it's not been the cleanest game. And
not.
we get to see now what can happen late game.
And, you know, maybe those losses last week, the 0-2, first time that's happened since Kissing joined H2K, shook the team more than anticipated. I am getting an update, guys, from our production and our referee team. And I believe my initial assessment was incorrect. I believe it is Hyanan and Kissing who actually created the pause. There is some discussion around some interactions with Thresh, which everybody is investigating and taking a closer look. Once I get more information, I will give you another update. But as we say, it's H2K in a strong lead for the time being. H2K find themselves right near the top of the table with Origin.
Yeah.
Only 8-3.
Both teams
vying for second place.
Been fighting against each other, and they keep it very even. Both teams had a bit of have had a few losses here and there, but then H2K won yesterday. Obviously, where Origin lost.
Yeah.
So if they take the win here, should be able to just sit as the second place for now.
That's actually important to note because we're getting now into the next, like the last 3 weeks of games. H2K lost the first time they came up against Origin. And if H2K lose the next time they meet head-to-head, that head-to-head could determine tiebreaker seeding. Mm-hmm. That head-to-head could determine who gets the number 2 seed behind Fnatic and who has to play in a quarterfinal to make it to semis.
And it is so important to get the number 2 spot because, first of all, you get a bye. Of course, you get straight into the semifinal, which also means you dodge around Fnatic, who's in the other one, so you can't face them before the final itself, which is very important because obviously for H2K, they got third place in the spring split, so have quite a lot of championship points, get second place, and you should be guaranteed a spot then at Worlds because you're going to have so many points built up.
If not in the regional qualifiers, at the very least.
At the very least. So that's obviously what they're aiming for. And for Origin, the fact they're sitting on 0 points, they have to earn enough to get at least into the regionals as well. So if they go to the quarterfinals and lose, they might not even be able to have a chance of making it to Worlds.
Then you look at the other side of this matchup, Unicorns of Love. 5 wins, 6 losses. They play second in spring, so they have even more championship points than H2K. However, Unicorns at the moment are looking closer to a 4th through 6th. I'm going to go 4th through 6th. I don't think they can place 3rd. But they're battling for a shot in the playoffs to make it to quarters, to make it to semis. And we keep saying, best of 5 team, best of 5 team. I do not think this version of UOL in summer is the same strength as the version in spring.
Agree.
I'm not seeing the same highs. I'm not seeing the same level of team fight, the same individuals stepping up. I have more doubts than I did earlier in the year.
But is that because H2K as a team is improving? Is it because Origin is now in the league? Obviously, as a stronger team than Medium Makers, who got auto-relegated last time here. They've obviously pushed down quite a few teams as well. So there's more competition for Unicorns of Love. And then also just the meta we played the first few weeks of the ULCS clearly didn't favor them because they were so weak in the early to mid-game and we had so many one-sided games that got snowballed in that mid-game. Teams would get a quick advantage, like a lot of tower dives going on and a lot of hard engage to just force fights over and over. And it didn't favor them. They want to play more, the late game style. Power of Evil really likes these late game champions. We haven't seen him do well on Syndra in a long... Okay, he had the one great game, I guess, but that's been about it for him. He's played it once, this split. So he no longer has these early game mid laners.
Great game. This split is not something I'd call his Syndra, if I'm going to be honest.
He had a good start to the game.
Okay, that's better.
And then he got caught out and died.
Yeah, his positioning. That was against Giants when they ran Wukong and Shyvana. We can see there's an update being provided to Visit Chachi. I'm hearing from production we are hoping to get back in the game relatively shortly. And, we've touched on the league, we've touched on overall. We're going to give everybody a reminder at home. We are getting closer and closer to playoffs. The 3 ways to make it to the World Championships here in the 2015 season: win the summer split, prove to be the best team in summer, have the highest amount of championship points, prove to be the best team throughout the year, or win the regional qualifier, which is to prove to be the best team on the current patch. Mm-hmm. So if you're on a current hot streak, those are the 3 ways. Unicorns and H2K could do it through winning the split or on championship points. That's a little more likely.
I think that most teams will not be looking at beating Fnatic at the moment.
Every
of course,
team should be.
You should.
Yes.
That's what you're aiming for. And that's the funny thing also when you have these clear difference between the top teams and so on. Every other team is looking towards them. They're looking saying, okay, how do they play? What can we do to catch up? And that's why we sometimes see them drop games here and there. And Hyanan, He's going crazy for that inhibitor.
He's getting excited and getting away. And right, let's get back into it. 34 minutes on the clock. Unicorns of Love trade 2 for 2 in the team fight, but lose their inhibitor in the middle lane. Hopefully we can get a replay of that fight to jolt everybody's memories, including my own.
Really have to look at Rio in that fight because he has so much damage. You can see with his build as well in Vintage, he wants to get in there because he knows he can almost one-shot or one-combo nearly every single target of these squishy members from the Unicorns of Love. However, it just means there's a chance for Power Weevil then to shockwave him, because we keep mentioning how it's Unicorns who's not able to catch H2K's backline, and that's why they have such a hard time winning the fights. But if the backline is jumping forward anyway, it's going to be fairly easy that way for Unicorns of Love. No real objectives on the map either. Baron is down, Dragon is down, so just the base left for H2K.
We'll find out if they can crack it open, take down those turrets. Did get another update. Here's the team fight, happened just before the ball.
So let's look at Hillsang. He's getting caught by the hook from Kasing, and then notice how Rio is standing so close because he wants to deal damage to him.
Oh.
That allows Power Weevil to get the shockwave. Janen as well was coming from the mid lane, so there's not really a whole lot of damage being dealt. They're not standing together to back down of H2K to try and kite back. Instead, Unicorns will get some kills, very important for them. Just really showing the Odoamne here. Going down, highlighting the tailwind. He died.
It's your fault, Odoamne. To close out the reason for that pause, by the way, guys, I did get it confirmed. There was a issue related to attack move. We did see it was Chachi being spoken to there by our referees, and after having a look at the footage, believe that there was nothing further to investigate. So that's why we've come back into the game, and we do see Chachi and Odoamne going toe-to-toe. Equalizer used from Odoamne, so that's a pretty big cooldown. Not available if H2K want to continue that siege.
Yeah, we might just see H2K wait for another Baron. Tell Unicorns of Love, if you want to move out of your base, away from these towers here, then you have to fight us out in the open. We have proven time and time again that we are stronger. We have the Righteous Glory on Lulix, and Odoamne's ulti should be ready in time. So they are just going to wait for this Baron. Start setting up again. They're doing such a good job, always establishing so much vision control around it at first, playing it very safe in that way. Because they know Unicorns of Love needs a proper flank, or maybe a flash engage. Hillsang has his ready. Kickers as well very soon.
And of course, it will be Baron number 2 of this game. H2K picked one up a little earlier in the matchup. Take a look at the itemization. Last Whisper, completed Mirror Mana, Eye Edge, and Ghostblade for Ryu. Looks like he'll get himself a Bloodthirster to round out his 6-item full AD Jace. You don't need no defensive stats. On the assumption he doesn't jump in with Hammer Time.
There is a ward just behind where H2K is standing now. I'm not sure if it just disappeared from the lane itself. That could be an opening for Chachi. Once he builds up this Mega now, you can see the ward in your minimap just where the minions are coming in. And Unicorns will have to fight. They cannot defend the tower forever. And if they can get that proper flank, that might be the best shot for them.
Take a look at this. Tower has been secured and Kikis is being focused down. Rocket after rocket. Shockwave is available for Power of Evil. Let's see where it's going to hit. The ward in the lane is available, and Chachi's got a third of a Mega Gnar bar. He's going to hold on to his TP for now.
Yeah, so H2K is saying, you know what, we didn't even have to wait for this Baron. We just kind of reset a little bit, then we went back to this lane that was already so low. Unicorns didn't get to pull the trigger. And now they're going to have to do it at Baron. So every single fight for them is what we should assume is going to be the last one in case they lose it, but also the only way for Unicorns to get back in the game.
Kikis used that Void Rush to go up towards the top lane, get closer to Baron to maybe challenge, maybe get some warding down. Super's in 2 lanes. So we can expect once somebody from Unicorns goes to defend, H2K can play the Baron game.
Yeah, and we're just going to see the same game where Chachi's sitting and defending, and H2K are just looking at him all the time, and where is he in terms of his Mega Gnar? If it's pop for him, okay, they just back away slightly. Once he's sitting in Mini Gnar, they can go back and start the Baron, and then force a fight with Chachi not being able to do anything. Kikis and Lurix trading here. Oh, Kikis might be caught out.
He's flashed in his tunnel to get to safety. Glulix is continuing to chase with that barrel. Kasing looking for more. We do see Glulix is now the man that's overextended, but look at the equalizer. Glacial Fish is going to make H2K slow to get into the fight. Hillsang's low, Vardags is low. Death Sentence doesn't connect, and Odoamne comes out of being golden. Super Mega Death Rocket didn't get a kill, but Power of Evil did. trades his life for Vardags, and that's a 1-for-1 you'll take any day.
Yeah, we saw so many members from Unicorns very low. Hourglass was used from Power Hero to stop the Jinx, or to avoid the Jinx rocket as well. They stayed alive, live to fight another day, and Chachi is coming straight in just to stop the Baron. H2K missing the AD carry, that's very key.
Teleport used from Visit Chachi, which means Oduwamne has his available. But need to wait 25 seconds before Hyanin is up and alive. 40 minutes as the game is slowing down.
So this all starts with the two junglers just fighting each other here. They're both trying to find a way to start it. Lulex, of course, if they force a flash from Kikis, it's not much of a threat in the fight, so that's smart enough to start it. And now it's just H2K looking for a target. It's a beautiful equalizer coming from Oduwamne. Lulex taking all the damage as well. And look how low Unicorns are. Power View with a nice Hourglass, he stays alive, even gets a kill on Hyanin. That's the key one to therefore stop the Baron coming in. Yeah, you got decent damage now. Yeah. Onto the squishies.
Late enough in the game, and a needlessly large rod. Equalizer goes out to split up UOL, and H2K get Dragon number 4. There's that minion and monster damage we get from the 4th Dragon buff. H2K have a Baron to play with. Supers in the bottom lane. And we're 41 minutes into this game. I wonder if Hyanin had fired that Death Rocket towards the rest of the team. 3 low health targets, how that fight could have gone different. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Baron secured by H2K, that's number 2. Lulex goes for the body slam flash. Explosive cask used and Lantern taken out. And H2K will look to peel away, set up the siege. Baron number 2.
2 open inhibitors, bottom lane 1 should respawn fairly soon. Simply just rushing it down. Again, it's the Unicorns. Didn't even give Kikis a chance to go in and try and steal it. Shows the damage of H2K, and they've been playing it a bit safe in the end. Trying to like secure, okay, let's back away here. We don't want to risk another team fight where Power of Evil can maybe get off a good shockwave, so instead let's just take these objectives. And then we move back into the base. Inhibitor here. People notice how Unicorns were positioned, so they could maybe flank in behind, but quickly spotted out by Kasing.
Oh, a lot of damage onto Hyanin. Trying to put the rockets down onto the inhib. They don't manage to secure it. But they do have Baron, so Minion's going to help out.
Death Cap is completed now for Power Evil. He's there. Ready to kill the squishies for himself.
He's found Hyanin in 2 very important fights. Kikis gets chunked down. That wall shield of his will be breaking if he has to sustain for long enough. Inhibitor still standing. Remember, no flash for Kikis. He needed to use it to save his life a little earlier.
And notice where Pavi is putting the ball. He's basically telling Hyanin, you can never auto-attack this inhibitor because then you're in the range of my shockwave. So Hyanin has to always dance around it. Now instead, H2K is saying, let's go in.
Righteous Glory comes out. The box was used from Kasing. The explosive cask was good, and the equalizer even better. Shockwave catches Hyanin, but face of the mountain shield keeps him alive for a few seconds longer. Vizichachi's got 2 before he needs to peel away. Hillisang's the only member of Unicorns until that moment to go down as Kikis follows suit. It's now a 3v3. Super minions in the middle lane. Bottom inhibitor, think we'll be respawning in a moment or two. H2K, messy team fights, but they get the inhibitor, which is what they wanted.
They do, but again, they're trying to just simply move forward, but the ball from Power of Evil and the fact there's a threat of maybe a Meganar coming in as well makes it very difficult for H2K to clean up the last few fights here. They're playing very greedy as well for it. Hyanin going down. 4 times he's been dying now on this Jinx. Rio, on the other hand, only the one down the bottom lane.
And this is what we talked about. Despite H2K winning the game yesterday, we felt it was a little messier. And when you look at this particular matchup, H2K find themselves over 10 minutes longer than their average win time. H2K have the tools to win the game, but they're picking questionable engagers. Hyanin's eating more damage and giving out more than he should. It's not what we're used to seeing from the clean and the calculated H2K. Rachel Fisher comes out. Oduwamne is taking a lot of burst, but he wants to get onto Hillisang, and he does. The overheat comes out, and Kikis isn't able to find more. Death Sentence connects onto Kikis, predicting the flash. Oduwamne is just going to burn him down. 2 kills for UOL. And this time around, Hillisang's positive play backfires.
Yeah, they tried to set up a little trap here because Hyanin was coming from base, but instead H2K quickly react, get a few kills. Now 2 guys down, all members alive. We got super minions. This should be it now for H2K.
Big defense needs to happen. Oduama is teleported in with full HP. Chachi's got Mega Gnar. The first Nexus turret is down, and Chachi is going to get chomped by the Flamers on the ground. The Gnar's just going to be to buy time as Ryu hammers down for a double kill. The Mega Death Rocket for the third of the fight. The Ace and H2K solidly hold second place.